Worcester. This is Reanna, and I am here today with Jennie and Laura from the Dominican Marketplace Committee. And why don't we open up with you guys telling us a little bit about yourselves and the role you bring to the Dominican Marketplace and art exhibit.
Okay. Yes, thank you. Hi. So my name is Jennie Guzman. I'm part of the Dominican Marketplace Committee. In terms of the role, this is a committee of Dominican leaders in Worcester that kind of came together to put together some events. So one of them is the Dominican Marketplace, as the name calls it, which is the major or the culmination of the day event. And then the other one is the art exhibit that's happening on that same day on the 27th. And then in addition to that, there's also a third event that is being put together by Casa Cultural Dominicana de Worcester that they've been doing for years, which is the flag raising at City Hall at noon on that day. So we're a separate independent group, but also collaborating with the other organization for some of these events. So in terms of my role in it, I guess it's just kind of came together with a conversation that I had with two other members that sort of initiated this what do we want to call it? Initiated this madness, I guess, which was Yolanda and Adeline. So they've kind of had some conversations on the side with Yolanda, and Adeline had some conversations too. She puts together a different event. If you've heard of World of Foods, which is different businesses. So this idea of sort of for celebrating the Dominican independence on the 27th, of having something sort of like a mini version of that. And that's sort of like the Dominican Marketplace kind of came alive. And then we kind of met, the three of us, and sort of like brainstorming of ideas of what we could do. And then started to invite other members, other people into the committee. And everyone is sort of like playing, different roles in terms of like someone is taking over the art and someone might be doing the sponsorship, and other people that are good at the media might be doing the social media and things like that.
Definitely.
So everyone's sort of like a group effort. Everyone's kind of putting in like whatever, bringing their strengths into the committee. And then, so one of the members that we recruited was Laura.
That's awesome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Laura?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Laura Martinez, and I am one of the committee members of the Dominican Marketplace. And yeah, excited to be part of this amazing group of Dominicans in Worcester. I think that makes not just the organizing part more personable, but it makes you feel like a little bit of home, because we're sharing stories, we're sharing ideas, and you don't really realize how large the community is in Worcester until we start having these little side conversations, or we start connecting with other people that maybe we don't know, but then we say the name, we're like, oh my God, I know this person too. And we're just really excited to kind of bring all those things together and amplify it in a beautiful way to the city of Worcester.
And what strengths are you bringing to the committee?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the strengths that I'm bringing to the committee is a lot of my presence in getting folks to go out there. So a lot of the outreach with small businesses, a lot of outreach in my community, but also folks that aren't Dominican, that are just a fan of culture, food, music, and having something different to do in this cold winter months that hasn't stopped snowing. Are really excited.
Get ready for some more tonight.
Exactly. Are excited to just be part of something. And it's always good to just kind of call on your friends in your community to kind of support you and have them all come out and have a good time.
That's awesome. I know here at What's Up Worcester and myself and just basically everybody that I associate myself with, we just love learning about other cultures, and this seems like an awesome opportunity for that to happen. So with that being said, Worcester has a strong and growing Dominican community. So why is it important to create spaces like this here, and especially now?
Yeah, that's a good question. But before I get into the question, just want to say back to the committee, like we're really so excited. Like you should see our chat. Like everyone's so excited about this because it's the first one, and that speaks to that question. The sense of the Dominican community in Worcester and the Worcester County is vibrant. It has grown a lot throughout the years. I have been here for a long time, so I remember like early 90s where there was barely like you could I could count and find someone already it was very minimal, like you knew the Dominican families that were here. My dad kind of knew them, and that's how But now, if you think of how much it has grown, there's a lot more families, there's more businesses, more leaders of Dominican descent, people that you would think, oh, I didn't know this person was from Dominican Republic, things like that. So that's one of the reasons why it's important. Like we're here, we're thriving, we want to showcase that. And in terms of the numbers too, we're the second largest in terms of like Hispanic populations in the Worcester County. So you can see that growth, but we're not really, I guess, present or visible in terms of like public spaces, or maybe government or things like that. So sometimes, so I think that one of the reasons why it's important now is kind of bringing that to light, and having everyone in Worcester sort of like participate and enjoy enjoy the Dominican culture, but also know that we're also part of the Worcester community as a whole. So it's not just targeting a Dominican population, but really is to open the doors for everyone to learn and be part of that community as well.
That's so awesome. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of add on to that, I think it's important to amplify Caribbean culture. I think that sometimes we can get confused in Latino, Hispanic, etc., and amplifying Caribbean culture and how we are from different islands, but we do share a lot of warmth, a lot of culture, a lot of foods are actually very similar. So I'm excited to see folks that may not be Dominican, but are Caribbean to kind of come in and have a good time. Our neighbors from Puerto Rico, Cuba, etc., Jamaica, we're excited to kind of have you come down because we actually share a lot more in common. So I think that needs to be amplified and celebrated in such a way that normally wouldn't be in Worcester, by categorizing us just as one, but we're very different, we're very bright, vibrant, and we're excited to share that with
I'm
everybody.
getting excited hearing about it. So
And if we think of all the times that we've lived in right now, I think this is actually a good timing in terms of like bringing community together.
yeah,
So also it's bringing like people are looking for like that sense of connection. So it's during difficult times.
Yes.
I agree. So the events are described as a celebration of culture, community, and commerce. So how do those three things come together, and what does this opportunity mean for Dominican entrepreneurs and artists in the Worcester area?
Yeah, so I would say, so if you think of, culture, I'm sorry, was it culture, commerce, and
Culture
one.
and community, and
Community,
commerce.
yes.
Yeah.
So culture is sort of like, this is what we're celebrating. This is what we're here to showcase, right? Community is bringing us together. So it's bringing the community to be part of that and celebrate. In commerce, if you think of it, that's what sustains us, right? That's the economic piece of it. So they all sort of kind of like go hand in hand. If you think of culture, like when you're buying like a culture piece, there's an economic part of that. So you're helping a Dominican business or just the business in general, but you're also sort of like enjoying the culture or the food or whatever you may be purchasing.
That's my
So
favorite part.
Yes. So you're sort of like, it all kind of comes together in that sense. You're enjoying in community, hopefully, and learning about different things and maybe meeting new people and things of that nature. So that's, for me, that's how it all comes together. So we were saying earlier about the Dominicans are very vibrant, so we like to celebrate. So, you'll have like the commerce and the vendors, but there will also be music, there will be performances, there'll be a little speaking program and officials there as well. So there's an actual like component that goes along with like bringing the community together. And sort of showcasing and letting them know why, what's the purpose, why we're doing this. But at the same time, for entrepreneurs, showcasing, I think that was the second part of the question, right?
Yes.
Showcasing their business, giving them like visibility, especially small businesses that people may not know about. They can hopefully gain new customers,
Yeah.
Meet new people. So it's giving them like a spotlight, I guess, in essence.
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that I wanted to highlight too is the government official piece of it. We have a city manager that's Puerto Rican. He's Caribbean, right?
Yes.
We also have a representative, that is Dominican that's going to be coming here as well. And in February, I don't know if a lot of folks know this, but there is a day in DC called Dominicans on the Hill. So to me, this is something that kind of wraps all those things together with the celebration of Dominican Independence Day,
Yeah.
and then honing it into the Worcester piece of it. And it really showcases the versatility of what Dominican culture can be, what it can look like, and and how it can look very differently across across the spectrum. So yes, we're talking vibrant food and vendors, but we're also talking entrepreneurship. We're also talking commerce. We're also talking government, and you can't really talk about one without the other. And
Exactly.
all of those pieces will be very present on our event.
Awesome. I love to hear it. Before we jump into what's coming up next, we want to take a quick moment to show some love to our incredible sponsors who help make What's Up Worcester possible. So we'll be right back. Welcome back. We're going to get right back into it with some more questions for Jennie and Laura. And these go along with some of my favorite things. So, how does food, art, and small business help preserve cultures across generations?
Yeah, it's a good question. I feel like that's pretty much the main thing that helps preserve cultures across generation. If you think about small businesses, growing like the family businesses typically play a big role in preserving culture, food. You think about family recipes, grandmothers, like how they pass that along from generations to generations in any culture, right? So all of those components help preserve culture, even when you're like away from home. Like if I think of like my sons, for example, they were born and grew up here, but they know Dominican food because of me, and they know like, music and things like that. So all those things kind of help through generations to preserve culture. Stories, families. I remember, I mean, she's no longer here, but one of my favorite aunts, my mom's aunt, like I loved listening to her stories because she would tell me stories about family members that I've never met, and things like that. But that helps kind of like keep that generation of and any family in Florida, just kind of keep that alive for me.
And what's your favorite thing to cook that's been passed down to you?
To cook or to eat?
Either one. What's your favorite family recipe? Whether someone
Probably,
else cooks
yeah,
it or you try it.
to cook, I would say probably it's called pastelón de plátano maduro.
Yeah.
My daughter's favorite.
Oh,
Yes.
It's probably to cook. It's probably not my favorite to eat. To eat, my favorite is very simple, which is just mango,
Yeah.
which is
Okay.
like the mashed plantain. So I would say that's probably they're both as you can see, they're both in both plátanos,
Yeah.
which is very typical in the
Yes.
Dominican Republic. But there's of course a lot of foods that I love.
Okay. And how about you?
I'm hungry. Definitely sancocho, especially this time of year because it's so cold and like the soup is just so hearty and delicious. That's definitely one of my favorites. And then anything with plátano.
Yeah.
I'm sold.
You can't go wrong with the soup. It
The
just
soup.
fixes everything.
All year round.
Yeah, it fixes everything.
Yes.
That's awesome. Did
And-
you?
No, I just wanted to add in terms of just food and things like that. Also, it helps obviously, like you mentioned, in terms of keeping culture throughout generations. But in case of this event, I think it's also a way to introduce people to that culture and to learn, like the people that will be coming, maybe they're not from Dominican descent. So like it's also a way for others to kind of learn about that culture as well.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the important thing.
Yeah, yeah. And our culture is really embedded in music and in art and in food and storytelling, like you were saying earlier. And that's really part of traditional ways of being Dominican. And handing that to somebody or showcasing it is definitely an honor for us, and it's definitely something that we know we take very serious in sharing our culture because it is such a big part of who we are.
Yeah. And actually, now that you mentioned art, I do want to point out that one of the events does focus on art. So that's another way of preserving, culture. So there'll be a lot of Dominican artists showcasing their art at JMAC.
Yes.
So that's the second event of the day, which I'll go through all the events in a little bit.
Absolutely.
But that one's again February 27th. That one in particular, it starts at 1:00.
Yes.
The flag raising is at noon,
Yes.
and then you can literally walk from City Hall to JMAC for
Right
the
across,
art
yeah.
reception on the 27th. But the exhibit itself is actually opens on the 18th, February 18th. So you can go into JMAC anytime between the 18th and 27th just to look at the art exhibit if you're not able to make the reception on the 27th. So just want people
Okay.
to know that it's going to be there for an entire week in
Yes.
case someone is not able to make the
Oh,
reception.
that's great to know.
Yes. Yes.
That's really awesome to know. Okay. We will make sure that everybody is aware of that because we wouldn't want them to miss out on seeing the beautiful artwork from these Dominican artists. So for someone who may not be Dominican but wants to attend, what would you say to invite them into the experience?
Kind of as a segue to what we're saying. Yeah. So to invite, I would say, just come with an open heart, come to enjoy, to taste, be able to be there to just basically enjoy the art, talk to people, hear the stories. Like you said, that you have your favorite taste of food, support the businesses and the vendors that are there. And just come with it in community, like just to enjoy. It's really just more like to enjoy the day and the events. And to learn about Dominican culture, but at the same time, I think I want people to understand and know that this is to celebrate Dominican culture, but this is also Worcester's culture.
Yes.
In the sense that the Dominicans in Worcester are a pretty large community. I think the last census I saw was about close to 8,000 Dominicans or something like that in Worcester. So we're here. So this is also like your community, right?
Right.
So we want you to enjoy it and come with that sense that we actually want people that are not Dominican to come and enjoy, right? So think of it as like it's not just Dominican Republic's event, but it's for everyone to enjoy, I guess.
Yeah. One thing that I would add too is that our culture is very loud and vibrant in the best way possible. We are not a quiet culture. So expect a lot of music, a lot of delicious flavors, a lot of beautiful art, and hopefully maybe you'll mingle with folks that you may not know are Dominican in the community and get to kind of explore their businesses as well.
Awesome. And I'd like to add that through personal experience, I've never felt unwelcome by the community. They're very welcoming, and it's always been a good vibe, a good feeling, lots of hugs.
Yes, a lot of hugs.
They will try to get you to eat.
Yes.
So it's never been a situation where I've ever felt like I have to go in shy or that I'm not going to be welcomed. It's in every situation I've always been welcomed with open arms, and I could tell from the vibe of the conversation that this event is going to be very welcoming and just a good time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we're excited.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Yeah, we actually are the opposite in terms of like what you're saying. We want you to come. We want to invite you. We want to make you dance. Yes.
Yeah.
So definitely a lot of that will be happening.
Yes.
So be ready.
Be ready.
Because you're going to eat, dance, and laugh, and hopefully hear some awesome stories along the way. And to wrap this up, this is the last question that I have for you, unless you want to add something else. But when people walk out of the White Room on February 27th, what do you hope that they're feeling?
So before I answer the question, I'm just going to run through the 3 events, which will bring me to the marketplace.
No
This is the last
problem.
question. So I just want to invite everyone to come. This is February 27th. So there's 3 events happening that day. As I mentioned earlier, the first one is the flag racing at City Hall. That's at noon. Then at 1:00, we'll have the art exhibit reception. So that's 1 to 5 at the JMAC. But you can also visit the art exhibit between the 18th and the 28th if you're not able to make the 27th. And then at 5:30 to 10 is the Dominican Marketplace.
Okay.
And that would be, as mentioned earlier, just all the different vendors, not just food, just different types of products as well, vendors. And that's where we'll have the programming and the performances and the music. So come to all or come to one. I always say that. So whichever one you can make or all 3. But so in terms of like, since that's a combination of the day, I would say when people leave the Dominican Marketplace, I want them to leave feeling, inspired. With joy, feeling that they were welcome and in community. Hopefully that they met at least one new person. They were there, tasted something different. Be adventurous, taste the new food.
Yeah.
Maybe danced a little bit. but just be inspired in terms of like culture, whether it's like that the art inspire you to create something, or take back art that you didn't have before by just looking at the exhibit, or maybe you were inspired by one of the vendors to start your own business, or maybe you were just inspired to go visit Dominican Republic for a
Yes.
visit for vacation.
Yes.
Or just meet, or just become friends, or join an organization, whatever the inspiration may be. But just leave with joy, because I feel like, as you mentioned before, that's what Dominicans represent. We're, joy, culture. So we want you to leave with that feeling of inspiration and community and connection.
Yeah. To echo a lot of the things that you said, I want folks to leave there warm because it's been so cold. So I want them to feel warm. I want them to feel inspired. I want them to have, full bellies and joy and smiling. And I hope that it inspires them to, explore our country, and explore Caribbean culture altogether, and maybe learn a few Dominican Spanish slang words. That would be
Okay.
great too.
The words that we always tend to learn first.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And can we find information about these events on social media anywhere?
Yeah, so there's a Dominican Marketplace Instagram is Dominican_Marketplace_WOO, WOO, and Instagram. And so you can find all the information on that social media.
Great. It was a pleasure speaking with you today and hearing about the events. I'm very excited for the 27th. If I can't make it to all of them, I'm
Make it to one.
hoping to at least make it to one.
Make it to one, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you very much. And is there anything else you'd like to say before we end?
Not just that, we hope to see you guys there.
Yeah,
Awesome.
let's hope to see you soon.
Welcome.
And that's it. What's up, Worcester? Signing off.